Summer slump. Despite no shortage of bullish news around crypto, BTC tumbles as a strong dollar, more tariff uncertainty, and nuclear saber rattling take their toll. Ticking time bomb. Digital asset treasury companies are popping up everywhere and hoovering up crypto, but they're also opening up a whole new frontier of risk. Alt season over? All the macro uncertainty has meant altcoins have once again taken a kicking. Was it all just fun while it lasted, or can our bags recover? And a look at last week's top performers, dates for your diary, tweets of the week, heroes and villains, and some portfolio updates and alpha from Nick and Guy. This is the Coin Bureau News, live. Hello everyone, it is good to see you. Monday's here, but never fear, the Coin Bureau Live News is here to make your troubles disappear. Do you like that, Nick?
I love it. You can open with that all the time, guys.
Yeah, I thought I'd give you
a rhyme every single Monday.
A rhyming intro. Yeah, just
go.
commit myself to that for the rest of my life. No, thank you. Hello, everyone. It's good to see you. It has been an interesting week for crypto since we were last here.
Yeah, a bit of a personality crisis last week. It was looking good at the beginning, and then towards the end, we got rug pulled yet again.
Yeah, we did. Although, weirdly, even though prices have dipped, this is against possibly one of the most bullish kind of regulatory and just general development backdrops that the industry's seen for a long time.
It's crazy. It's as if it's just devoid, the price action is just devoid completely from what was going on fundamentally.
Yeah, you're sort of like, is anyone paying attention to what's actually going on, or are people just selling? Yeah, it's very, very strange. So obviously there's a lot to unpack. So we're going to look through the week in Bitcoin. We're also going to look into digital asset treasury companies. DATCOs. Yeah, a new acronym for you, because like pretty much everyone can see these are basically not going to end well. We're also going to be digging into alt season. What the heck is going on? We've got all the usual features for you, and if you hang on till the end, then we're going to share some recent portfolio developments with you.
No, they have to first work for that, guys. I know.
Oh, okay.
And I know that last time we said 1,500 likes, and the past two streams we've done that, and actually you guys came relatively close last week, above 1,000 and everything, so we thought we'd move the benchmark down a little bit. So I think this time what's reasonable is maybe 1,200 likes.
Okay.
If we can get to 1,200 likes by the end of the stream, then we're happy to share that information. So you guys know what to do. Fire up the likes. Don't forget to subscribe. And let us know how you're feeling about the markets right now, so we can come to a sentiment check after the Bitcoin section.
Absolutely. Pound that like button like there's no tomorrow. I was going to make a horrible analogy there, but I won't.
I'm glad you did it. I saw that going that way. I was like, bro, it's not the practice session now.
You could see my thought processes, and you thought, is he gonna say it? I hope not. Okay. All right, okay. Nick, start us off. Last week started a bit bizarrely, didn't it? Because Michael Saylor was nowhere to be seen.
He didn't buy, even though he alluded to it in his orange Saylor tracker.
Right.
But as we speculated last week, it was because he just needed some more fiat to buy with, and that did indeed then happen on the Tuesday. Saylor came out and bought, and a day later, it didn't disappoint. $2.4 billion worth, 21,000 Bitcoin, taking the total holdings to 628,791 BTC.
Punchy.
There we go, man.
Punchy as ever from Saylor.
Indeed. But what's crazy is that amount of buying still didn't really move the needle. We were kind of range bound on Tuesday. He's going to need more fiat to keep on buying. And we'll get to that in a bit. Wednesday, we had GDP numbers, and this is really interesting because it was actually quite a beat in terms of the expectations, and it was a really good number compared to the previous, which was a fall in GDP. Now, it's important to note, though, that it's data here in terms of how they actually calculate the GDP, because there was GDP is calculated via subtracting net exports. Okay. And there was a surge in exports in Q1 ahead of tariffs. People were trying to get ahead of it. And then in Q2, obviously, way less exports ahead. Therefore, you had an artificial pump in GDP. So that's partly why it explains it.
Tariffs causing trouble. Who would have thought it?
Who would have thought it? Yeah, exactly. FOMC meeting on Wednesday evening or afternoon US time.
Yes. Okay. Again, rates unchanged. I mean, I think that was pretty much what was expected, wasn't it?
You're telling me Trump wasn't able to sway him?
No, apparently not. And Trump was out in sort of force after that. I think did he call Powell an actual moron? I think the M word might
He's
have
called
been
him
used.
so many names in the book. I don't know. Everything and anything. A stupid person. Powell suffered everything. Every word in the book. But then, speaking of the Fed, on Thursday we had PCE inflation numbers. Now, these are the Fed's preferred inflation measure, the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index, slightly hotter on the headline and the core number. So that obviously kind of dampened any sort of expectations for a rate cut.
Yeah.
And then on Thursday as well, as we alluded to, we had one of the most bullish statements I've ever seen. In general, of an SEC chairman make. This included things about why U.S. citizens should be able to participate in ICOs. They should be able to get involved in airdrops. Why are you guys using VPNs for airdrops? You should be able to share in this as well. Allowing founders to build in the U.S. with regulatory frameworks. So it was one of the most crazily bullish speeches ever.
And how about that statement? Quote, most crypto assets are not securities.
Damn.
Although, as some people on Twitter have pointed out, that word most is doing some heavy lifting there.
Exactly. What is most? What includes?
As Ben Cowan would say, not talking about your altcoin.
Not your,
But yeah, one more point on the Fed though before we move on. So the meeting we had last week, there's no meeting this month, no meeting in August.
Yeah.
There's the Jackson Hole Symposium where Jerome, I think, will give some sort of thoughts on the economy, but no Fed meeting now until September.
Yeah, exactly. So nothing in August. And then on Thursday after the SEC announcement, we also had the White House drop a crypto report. It was indeed a very comprehensive quote, strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology. There we go.
Insanely bullish.
Insane. I mean, crazy, right? From the White House itself. Even look at the cool image they used there. A blockchain with, the White House. Beautiful.
This is just, again,
decentralized networks behind the White House. The White House is decentralized.
This would just be so hard to, I mean, this would be impossible to imagine under the previous administration, indeed any previous administration, even Trump's first one. So it's crazy. It's such a turnaround.
And yet, you guys still sold. What's going on? I mean, Bitcoin. What's going on, guys?
Jackie's not impressed.
He's not impressed. What's going on? What the fuzz, really? No, to be fair, this was because of Friday. It was their markets were selling off in anticipation of the actual Liberation Day, Day 2.0.
Yeah.
This is the actual implementation, the August 1st deadline for the tariffs, and markets did fall. And as we have been doing over the past few months, Bitcoin came back and closed the CME gap.
I've got to say, like anyone, you see that sort of pair of green candles after that gap was open. Like anyone who shorted it from there, you've got to applaud them really. But it's been like clockwork recently.
Yeah,
it comes back and closes.
And that was a 2-week-old gap, right? I think so. Essentially, you would have, if you'd opened that trade on the Monday when the gap had opened, you'd have to have been in a lot of volatility and been in a big loss if you'd been on a short side.
Do you know? I've just figured though the way to keep the next CME gap open. So when we next get a CME gap open up, I'm going to short from there.
Exactly.
and that means that CME gap will not be
closed. You have single-handedly solved all market inefficiencies, Guy. You will be the arbitrager who closes all gaps going forward. How about that?
And I do it all for you guys.
There you go, guys. Market Efficiency 101 right here by Guy. Inverse Guy making it happen.
Okay, so so the CME gap was closed. What else? And we had this tariffs deadline, because we talked a few weeks ago about that, didn't we? And I think we both said it's like that grace period will absolutely fly by, and it did.
Oh, it did, and then we've still got the Chinese tariff implementation, which is the big one, 3 months out. That's still going to go ahead. India hasn't settled, all this stuff, but it's some semblance of normalcy so far. NFP numbers came out on Friday, and they were actually really bad. Okay. So there were 73K versus 100K, but that's not the worst part. The worst one is the revisions. So apparently the downward revisions of 258,000 jobs in May and June. So essentially job gains over the last 3 months have been barely above 100,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is quite a revision.
That's quite a revision.
They got their numbers quite off there.
Yeah, and some would have actually said that this was political meddling, including the commander-in-chief himself, who actually fired He actually fired the head of the BLS.
Yeah, Bureau of Labour Statistics. Well, that's one thing. That's one thing you can do if you don't like the data and you run the show. You can just fire whoever brought you the data.
Don't like the call, just fire the umpire.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did kind of feel, I did sort of feel that was a bit of an overreaction, but that data was way off.
I mean, to be fair, the way they calculate these things, it's all survey data, and it's difficult. Imagine getting Gen Z to respond to a phone call.
You can barely respond to them when you speak to them face to face, can you? So, but if it makes you guys feel any better, it wasn't just crypto that was suffering through all this, was it? Stocks. Stocks also took a real hammering as well.
Yeah, indeed. And also on the crypto side, we had a really big outflow day on Friday for Bitcoin ETFs. In fact, the second biggest Bitcoin outflow ever on record.
Wow. Okay.
And if stuff couldn't get any worse, Guy, on Friday evening we got this news.
Oh, yes. Okay. So this is, repositioning nuclear subs. So this was in response to a tweet from Dmitry Medvedev, who is sort of was Putin's puppet president for a bit, who apparently has a habit of going on Twitter sort of quite late Moscow time and sort of aggressively trolling, various international figures. I'm sure that's nothing to do with
vodka-laced trolling.
Yeah, exactly. So Trump sort of duly took the bait and then was sort of like, okay, well, I'm just moving our nuclear submarines around. And it's like, I mean, when you dig into that, it's sort of like, well, as someone pointed out, these nuclear submarines can hit Moscow from anywhere on the globe. So it's hardly like, but it's just the fact that he's kind of talking about it, isn't it? Everyone's sort of like, oh, don't talk about that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Don't say nuclear submarines.
Don't say that. Not on the Friday afternoon going into a low liquidity weekend. Please don't do that, guys.
I want my weekend to be chill.
But it was a relatively okay weekend, slight bit of a recovery. Now, quickly, what's coming this week? Yes, Robert Downey Jr. finally. It's August is generally a bearish month, right? Historically, it has been a bearish month. But of course, past performance isn't always an indicator of future returns. And I found this really interesting analysis on Twitter. Nice one, guys. You guys are getting really... Why are you embellishing all of my... I mean, tell me you're going to do this so I can at least...
Oh dear, that's brilliant.
No, I mean,
no one's listening. Okay. Fine. Oh dear. Okay. Well, talk to me about this analysis.
His analysis was not my picture. It was an actual chart, I will say. So it was a chart. Basically, it's interesting. About 80%. The Bitcoin has set a new high or low within the first 12 days of a month, over 80% of the time, and generally it then proceeds to trend in the other direction for the rest of the month. So, I mean, like I said, this is again past performance, future returns, but it's an interesting data point to look at. So essentially, what happens in the first 12 days of this August, that could determine, based on historically, 80% of the time, what could happen in the days that follow. So keep an eye on what happens in the next 12 days. And then this chart is also quite bullish because we've now basically, the support, we've come to the previous all-time high. So we've hit the support of the previous all-time high. And if we close today above the 50-day moving average, that could also be bullish. Okay. And I'll also note one more thing. We've got a high liquidity zones in terms of order depth around the previous all-time high.
Okay.
And there's no CME gap that was opened over the weekend.
Okay.
Stocks are looking good. Pre-markets, and finally, the job market the job data last week on Friday has increased the chances of a rate cut in September to 82%.
Okay. Some bullish signs there.
Some bullish signs, yeah.
We could be set to go higher.
We could be.
Yeah, it is crazy. When just going back to what the SEC and the White House and stuff were saying, we might cover this a bit more later on, but it is just wild to me that prices have been suffering this much when the backdrop is so positive.
It's all macro. Macro drives crypto now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So what's the sentiment looking like?
The sentiment is good. A lot of people are questioning your choice of top. It's a Juventus. It's a Juventus top. Obviously, if you're going to go out and wear a football shirt, you've kind of got to be prepared.
To be fair, guys, I did wear an Inter like 3 weeks ago, an Inter Milan one, and I thought I can't be causing this rivalry from our Italian fans, so I needed to kind of balance it out.
Is this a deep buried love for Italian football that I don't know know about?
It could be, or it could just be the fact that we happen to get given shirts of Italian football teams by our brand partners and sponsors.
That's true. That's true.
It's actually got a Coin Bureau thing on the back. You guys see?
Is it? Oh,
it's cool, right?
how about that?
That's cool, right?
How about that?
There we
Okay.
go. So it's unique. It's
Yeah.
one of a kind.
Yeah. Well,
If I get signed by UV anytime.
I'm sure it's only a matter of time, Nick. I'm sure it's only a matter of time. Yeah, you might have to go out and wear different football shirts though in order to keep people happy. I think if you think
English football league, right? It's going to.
Yeah, Premier League. Oh, don't wade into that. A few people asking for the Nick and Guy calendar as well. I can tell you one thing, that ain't happening. There's so many reasons why that's not happening.
Well, it depends how many likes we get, guys. We're a horse for likes.
Speak for yourself.
Okay. What are you getting us into? This is terrible. This hasn't been thought through at all, Nick. Okay, right. We're going to quickly move on.
How many likes are we on so far?
How many likes are we on? 370.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Well, I'm not going to try and do the maths on that, but still got a fair few to go.
9:30 to go.
Okay, so let's talk about DATCOs, digital asset treasury companies. Now, we've seen an absolute explosion in these recently. I'm sure if you've been paying even a modicum of attention, you won't have missed this. Basically, so many people, so many companies following the strategy playbook, following the Michael Saylor playbook, and stacking crypto. Now, a lot of these, obviously, Bitcoin is the strategy, but we're now seeing completely random companies that have nothing to do with crypto, blockchain, even really nothing to do with tech in many cases, suddenly announcing that they're raising money or they're buying huge amounts of, in many cases, altcoins. And those of us who've been in crypto for a while can spot something overheating from a mile off. And the general consensus is that this is a time bomb waiting to go off. These DATCOs.
Yeah, exactly. This meme kind of fits it well. I think many people have this consensus view that it looks like this could be one of the biggest bombs in the crypto market. But I will say that I think that it's going to pump our bags aggressively until that point. So it's a problem not to worry about necessarily in the next few months or even year, but when you do have some sort of a catalyst that kicks off prices lower, this amount of leverage and this risk that's been built up in the system because of these things could make it much worse. And Galaxy Digital actually released a report last week that was published in CoinDesk about how these DATCOs, for example, they live off of a stock price premium to their Bitcoin or Ether or altcoin stash. And if that premium, which is the MNAV or the multiple of the net asset value, if that goes below 1, so it basically becomes a discount, then you could have these forced redemptions, especially if they have debt that they've taken out with particular covenants, or they've been able to issue shares and dilute their shareholders because they have a positive MNAV. What happens when it goes negative or discount?
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, there's a lot of talk about how this is basically a bit of an insider's game, right?
Yeah, exactly. So these PIPE, which is basically private investment in public equity or SPAC deal type things, they basically, people who buy into the stock beforehand can dump huge, large blocks of these stocks on the market. And what's interesting to note is, as compared to many people point to the high FDV, low circulation meta with VCs dumping on retail, but at least the VCs were given vesting schedules that usually had a cliff 6 months out and then had a 12-month vest of some description. With these deals, the sponsors or whoever the people who bought beforehand can dump the entire amount of shares within at least 3 months. So the lockups are very short. So
okay, so basically, someone's looked at the low float, high FDV meta, and gone, how can we make that even more unfair and extractive, and put it into practice?
And fully legal securities instruments, regulated, allowed. This is TradFi for you guys. Tell me why cryptos are fraud. I mean, really, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important to point out, isn't it? Because like a lot of people will be saying, oh, this is just the crypto industry doing dodgy things, up to their usual tricks or whatever it is. It's like, no, this is TradFi doing this. This is TradFi
buying assets, like it's just, and they tap in the debt equity markets. And the problem is, the model assumes an endless supply of debt and equity that's willing to bid this. But if capital market windows shut, then the treasury growth will stall.
Yeah.
And there's also risks about altcoins that have done these. Now, the big meta is, of course, Ethereum digital asset treasury companies. And there are specific risks there in the sense that, for example, staking. The staking queues mean the treasuries can't easily quickly unlock the funds and unwind the positions as they can with Bitcoin. And then there's also smart contract bugs or validator slashing risk that add technical risks, as well as centralization concerns. And remember, with Ethereum, a proof-of-stake cryptocurrency, staking power is determined by amount of coins as opposed to Bitcoin, which is a proof-of-work network, etc.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, companies like SharpLink Gaming and stuff are, have enjoyed a lot of headlines recently, starting to stack, a la strategy almost,
Exactly.
And that's been a big part of why ETH has performed so well recently.
Exactly.
And yeah, I mean, there is, as you say, there is potential yield there and stuff, which to many I think would make ETH a more attractive asset for for a digital asset treasury. So, but as you say, there are risks with that perhaps a lot of these companies don't truly understand. Having said that, we've got companies stacking BTC, we've got companies stacking ETH. There are plenty that are going for altcoins as well, and I mean, some of them just look to be outright pump and dumps.
Well, I mean, the price action and the charts would, for example, I found two particular examples of treasury companies that were deciding to accumulate hyperliquid. The first one was one called Lion. Pull up the chart there. A Lion Group that wants to bet big on hyperliquid with a $600 million treasury. And they make the announcement and the stock price pumps, obviously. And then the stock is, and then since that time, about a month or two ago, the price of the stock is down 17%. Right? So you could have just bought hyperliquid and you still would have been profitable. Why would you buy the shares of a digital asset treasury company?
Yeah.
But that's not the most egregious example. This is another one that happened about 2 weeks ago. It was a company called Sonnet Biotherapeutics.
Right.
And they announced they were going to do a 500 and something. Now look at that price action, right?
That is horrible.
You got no volume, nothing happening to the price prior to that, basically dead. And then prior to the announcement, there's some volume picking up, and you can start seeing that people are buying, right?
Yeah.
Into the announcement. Before the announcement is made, there are people buying.
Right.
Then you see this massive pump in price. Obviously, that's the announcement.
Mm-hmm.
And then complete retracement, and now it's down 40% from the actual announcement to date. So the only people who could have made money buying that stock were people who bought prior to an announcement. And even then, some of the people a few days afterwards have lost out. So it's just crazy.
This is basically just been used as a way for insiders to dump stock.
We can't say that necessarily. It can't be proved. I mean, maybe it's also retail who didn't understand the instruments that were used in these particular cases and decided to jump on. But guys, honestly, if you're bullish on an altcoin, rather buy the altcoin in question. Hyperliquid is a top tier altcoin. We hold it, but don't go and buy an altcoin treasury wrapper, because especially if it is done in a way that take advantage of your of your lack of knowledge of the securities instruments themselves and the way these deals are structured.
Yeah.
And there was also a little bit of FUD last week about the OG treasury company. And I think it's important to point out that MicroStrategy is different and strategy is different. Sailor is different. He's a different beast. The types of terms that strategy can get for its debt is way better than any of these others. And Michael Saylor has shown to be a diamond-handed holder in a bear market. That being said, last week they came out and announced a new strategy for their strategies ATM stock issuance for the commons, for the MSTR. And essentially the guidance is that if the MNAV, which is a multiple of net asset value, trades below 2.5 times, which it is currently now about 1.7 to 1.9 times, they're not going to issue any more common stock to buy Bitcoin.
Right.
They may issue common stock to pay back preferreds, to pay interest, but not to buy more Bitcoin. So this kind of spooked the markets, kind of obviously strategy stock to solve off of this. There is the other argument that, look, strategy as preferred method of buying Bitcoin is via preferred equity and debt and stuff like that. So they'll just use the stock issuance to basically pay those back. But that's another factor to put into the treasury, digital asset treasury tool, box.
So, I mean, even with the OGs like strategy, there is still risk involved with these things. And as you say, Nick, this is the sort of thing that you want to watch from the sidelines and just, do not get involved with, because a lot of them are just pure extraction, nothing more, nothing less, in order to pump up these company stocks, often of companies that are, basically circling the drain already. So this is something I think to watch from the sidelines. And I mean, I guess the consensus is that Yeah, this is. If this doesn't necessarily cause the next big crypto crash, because these companies are going to be triggered into panic selling by, a sudden dip in prices. They may not cause the actual dip themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
But once that dip starts and these companies start offloading,
Precipitates it.
yeah, it's going to make it a whole lot worse. So, and that spark could come from anything, really.
It's any exogenous shock, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Don't say you weren't warned.
Exactly.
In other words.
Wall of Fame and Shame. Let's go, guys.
It's the ball. The weekly rise falls. It's the ball.
Okay.
Jesus. Bro.
Oh, the Teletubbies.
How imaginative you guys are.
it's
Amazing.
It's beautiful.
Teletubbies. Where'd that come
Beautiful.
from?
They make a cameo. I watched that. I watched a great film recently, 28 Years Later, which is like Britain overrun by zombie hordes, and it opens with the Teletubbies, and then, as you can imagine, gets a lot darker from there. Really good film.
Wow, what an intro.
Yeah.
So harrowing. So harrowing.
Okay, let's have a look at who is on the Wall of Fame this week. Now, this is an important one. This guy, you might not recognize him, but you will have heard his name. This is Roman Storm, and this is the guy who basically developed, or one of the guys who developed Tornado Cash, the privacy-preserving mixing protocol built on Ethereum. And Roman has basically been prosecuted by US authorities, accused of many things, facilitating sanctions evasion, facilitating money laundering, things like that. Because basically this Tornado Cash, this mixing protocol, this privacy protocol was used by bad actors, most notably North Korea. Now, this case kind of leaves the US authorities kind of leave aside the fact that plenty of people use Tornado Cash for legitimate reasons. And that privacy should be a basic human right. But nevertheless, he is facing significant jail time if he is found guilty. Now, this trial and this whole thing has been going on for a long time now. The reason why we're putting him on the Wall of Fame this week is that we could have a verdict in that trial, possibly as soon as today.
Exactly, sometime in August. So yeah, it'll be interesting, and it's an important verdict because it could determine the trajectory of what happens with potential future cases. Is code law? Is code free speech? I think it's a very important case. Obviously, it could be an appeal and all that kind of stuff. But
well, I mean, yes, and listening to the guys on the chopping block talk about it the other day, they did say that if he is convicted, then a lot of people think that he has very strong grounds for an appeal. But we don't want that. We want him to be exonerated. We don't want, we want these charges dropped. And we're keeping our fingers crossed because, as Nick says, this would not only be personally terrible for him, but it would also be very bad for crypto as well. And it would cast a very long shadow over, developers and what they can do. And actually, this would resonate out beyond just crypto. I think this is a really important verdict. So do keep your eyes on this. I think this is something kind of overhanging the industry as a whole. And if he's set free, then that would be great news for him and for the industry. So we're sending him all best wishes. This has gone on too long, this case.
May the good fortune be with you, sir. Yep,
absolutely.
And then on the Wall of Shame, guys. Now, this is pretty interesting. So over the weekend, we got the news. Now, there's a Satoshi, like an invisible Satoshi statue, right? That's in Lugano, Switzerland.
Right.
And apparently over the weekend, it was stolen, legit stolen. And then how crazy is that? Like in Switzerland of all places, right?
Yeah. So this statue was put up, I think it was last year, actually.
Yeah.
Lugano, obviously, a real sort of hotbed of crypto.
Vandals, vandals.
Well, and of vandals, yeah. That was the most surprising aspect of this story for me. Because if this statue had been put up in an English market town, then it would have literally disappeared the following day.
Exactly.
And been found at the bottom of a canal somewhere. But for this to happen in Switzerland, this is truly disturbing. I thought those guys just sat around eating chocolate, building cuckoo clocks, and laundering money.
Yeah, new pastime, destroying Satoshi images. Satoshi statues. But they did actually find it.
Okay.
They did actually find it. Yeah, they've recovered it. So thank God, it was in the water.
Okay.
So they found it. But whoever stole that statue, seriously, guys, what's going on?
What's happened to Switzerland?
Switzerland, guys.
What is happening? This is terrible. Okay, well, yeah, deservedly on the wall of shame. I mean, I suppose we could have put the Department of Justice and all the people prosecuting Roman Storm, but I mean, theft of a statue.
Yeah, come on.
What's the world coming to?
But he would have needed an angle grinder as well. Imagine, it must have been premeditated. They must have hated Satoshi so much. Speaking of which, was Peter Schiff anywhere near Switzerland this week?
Can Peter Schiff account for his movements over that weekend?
He may have been deposited some gold in Swiss bank vaults, and then he thought to himself, maybe I'll go and sabotage the Satoshi.
Funnily enough, he was allegedly spotted wandering around downtown Lugano with an angle grinder. It's all making sense. No, I'm sure it wasn't Peter Schiff. But so that is the wall of shame. Whoever stole the Satoshi statue, thank goodness it has been found and we can all sleep easy. Now, the fact that the Satoshi statue has been recovered, does this mean perhaps that if that can be recovered, then maybe alt season can be recovered?
I do hope so. Maybe that's the good omen, yes. Alt season is pretty crazy because last week we were kind of like, alt season's here, it's amazing. And then it's like, oh my God, that's the scene we wake up to. And alts fell a lot more than Bitcoin. The inevitable meme, Bitcoin falls by like 1%, alts by 10%. But it was a rough week. Bitcoin dominance started rising again, above 60%. And ETH fell back below $3,500. There we go. I mean, Eric Trump, let me say it again.
Eric. Did he tweet about that?
He did. He said buy the dips. To be fair, this time he may have been close to at least till yesterday till it started recovering. But there's some questions around, could the $4,000 level here or the $3,900 level have been what termed a quadruple top potentially? The fourth time ETH has struggled to break through the $4,000 level. I don't personally think that, but some people were questioning that.
Okay. So, I mean, as you say, it was a very tough week. Now, we've got some data from CoinGlass. Long positions accounted for $707 million. Those liquidations of those longs hit $754 million. Yeah. And obviously, BTC, ETH, major altcoins like ADA, Doge, Solana, all of these were affected.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a real wipeout. Meanwhile, we've also got whales selling as well. Arthur Hayes being one of them. I wonder how he feels about the fact that everyone knows when everyone's doxed his wallets. But I suppose
I'm sure he's got many hidden wallets, to be honest.
Yeah,
but he was bill posting ETH to 5K like 3 weeks ago. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, obviously he's changed his tune. So he offloaded $13 million in ETH, Pepe, and ENA.
Yeah.
Okay.
ENA indeed as well. But guys, to be honest, although the price action at the end of last week was quite, abhorrent, to be honest, as we mentioned at the beginning, the amount of bullish news that was been breaking around the crypto industry, we just can't allow that to go unanswered. I mean, for example, take a look at what's happening with the SEC guidance, for example, which we've got a video coming on in the next few days, talking about what Atkins said.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I can't underline enough how crazy this is in the context of, what the SEC was recently like. Meanwhile, the SEC has also approved in-kind redemptions for crypto ETFs. So this means that you'll actually be able to get, if you sell out, you'll actually be able to get Bitcoin if it's a Bitcoin ETF, ETH or whatever, which I think is going to make a big difference.
Yeah, 100%.
And that could help to keep capital siloed within crypto.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be converted to fiat back and forth.
Yeah.
And then also, can you believe this? Coinbase last week partnered with JP Morgan of all banks to offer crypto to clients.
Is this the JP Morgan that is still run by Jamie Dimon?
Yes, Jamie Dimon of Satoshi.
What if Satoshi comes back? What if Satoshi comes back and mints more coins?
Yeah, man. Maybe he was in Switzerland.
Maybe. Yes,
he was visiting Switzerland.
Maybe it was a Schiff Diamond double act. I mean, I think Jamie Dimon still hates Bitcoin, still hates crypto, but his bank knows, the bank that he runs knows what side its bread is buttered on. Crazy to think. Meanwhile, over in the UK, the cradle of Western civilization, the Financial Conduct Authority is opening retail access to crypto ETNs.
Oh my God! Even the UK now we know it's going to the moon.
Actually, we don't have an image for this, but interestingly, George Osborne, who is a former UK Chancellor of the Exchequer, who I should say many people actually blame for the current situation that the country is in. I won't get into that here. But he actually wrote an op-ed in the Financial Times saying that the UK had been late to crypto and was, the first time around, and was going to be late. It was going to miss out again. And sort of this has actually got quite a lot of coverage in mainstream UK media.
I think that's just because it was written by George Osborne, and there's a lot of people who are like, whatever this asshole is saying, I'm going to buy the opposite, do the opposite.
Yeah, I suppose really crypto, in the minds of many Brits, actually probably the last person crypto wants fighting its corner is George Osborne. Still, this conversation is being had, so we could be seeing positive changes in the UK. Meanwhile, we've also got a timeline of upcoming ETFs as well.
Yeah, altcoin ETFs, Solana ETFs by Van Eck, Bitwise, and 21 Shares.
Yep, XRP ETFs, Grayscale, Franklin Templeton, CoinShares.
Dogecoin as well, and final ranges there.
Yep, Grayscale's also applied for a Cardano ETF.
Staked TRX, Tron ER ETF, and then, of course, Ethereum staking amendments and hybrid ETFs as well.
Yeah, and of course, like we talked about earlier, we have all these DATCOs, digital asset treasury companies, buying up alts as well. In fact, Mill City Ventures III Limited.
Sounds just like a DAT name.
Yeah.
It's the most unrelated thing ever.
But I want to know what happened to Mill City Ventures 1 and 2.
Well,
They're having another go?
Now you've got your answer. Now you've got your answer.
Okay, well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about here. But they've announced a $450 million, really, for a sui treasury strategy.
And but anyways, there's also Wales is also buying, especially ETH. So there was Arkham tracked this one massive $300 million ETH OTC deal from Galaxy Digital, and we also have the amount of mega whale addresses. These are addresses on chain that have more than 10,000 ETH are reaching all-time highs according to Glassnode data.
Yep. Yep, and we also, we could have the Fed easing soon as well.
Yeah, exactly. As you see, we've got this. Jerome's got his eyes on those green candles.
Tapped outside Fed headquarters.
Yeah, so there's a lot happening, guys. And if you want more information as well, we've actually got a video over on More Coin Bureau that Lewis did. Lewis, our new host and team member, that looks at the Q2 and what could potentially come for Q3, especially from an altcoin perspective. So we will leave a link to that down in the description. And if you guys are not subscribed to More Coin Bureau yet, well, just head on over to the QR code right. Behold in my hands.
Yeah.
The holy QR code to the More Coin Bureau land.
Absolutely. And, I mean, you should be checking out Lewis's videos anyway. He is a great addition to the team.
Exactly.
We're really enjoying having him around. Very, very knowledgeable guy. He's been talking about some interesting trading stuff.
Trading stuff and altcoins, some interesting memes as well.
Yeah. He's quite degenerate.
Yeah,
he's into some degenerate stuff. There's some degenerate altcoins out there. Okay, now let's round this off quickly because we need to try and answer this question. Is alt season over?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Just before the massive amounts of Fed liquidity coming in, all these regulations, positive regulations, Bitcoin hasn't tapped out yet. I don't think ETH still has more room to run. Look at all these digital asset treasury companies. So obviously, it's not going to be as big as we've always said. The previous altcoin rally in terms of total from trough to peak, but it's definitely we're going to get more liquidity. Altcoins are going to rally, especially some of the best performing, but it's going to be narrative driven as well.
Yeah.
You need to be a bit more selective in what you buying, and also don't just, if you have an altcoin that just hasn't that's been underperforming, and even in the most recent rally it hasn't managed to catch a bid, it needs to be reassessed very carefully. If it's going to be able to catch a bid in the next wave of liquidity.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm sort of focusing on now, if an alt I hold, if it experiences an absolute god candle, which it does still happen, then I'm much more open to taking some profit off the table at that point, because obviously we've seen so many retracements so far, and I think this is something that you should be thinking about for your own individual strategy, not financial advice, of course. But if you do, no one ever went broke taking profits, and I think it's going to be really important to try and do that along the way. You don't need to sell your whole stack. You can keep some back. There are many ways you can DCA out in the same way that you DCA'd in. But you need to be a lot more nimble.
And if you are going to hodl a stack, there's no better way to do that than in cold storage and self-custodial. hardware wallet, and there's none better out there right now than a Ledger hardware wallet. Specifically, their latest devices, the Ledger Flex and the Ledger Stacks. And if you scan that QR code on the screen right there or hit the link down in the description, you are taken to a page where you can buy one of these two devices. And if you do that, you'll also get given a $10 free Bitcoin gift card, which you can load up your device with.
Okay. And yes, Ledger's recovery key, new recovery key device, which kind of acts as a spare key for your device if you lose your seed phrase or don't have access to it or whatever. That is a cool new device that Ledger have recently brought out. Check out their official website for more details on that. Okay, let's check the like count. Where are we? How are we doing at the moment? 700. You can do better than this, guys.
Come on, guys.
Even I know the maths for that. We just need another 500 likes.
There you go, 500.
Am I right? Yes, I am right. So another 500 likes and we will share some of that portfolio alpha with you guys. Now, let's have a look at last week's top performers, shall we, Nick?
Yep. First one on the list is Meme Core with the ticker just M.
Okay.
So it's a meme-focused L1, and it's a good breakdown of why it's been pumping by this post on X by Stacey Moore.
Yeah, she's a really good researcher, by the way. She's one of the accounts I follow religiously. Posts a lot and just, has a lot of good research and knowledge and alpha in there. But yeah, there's this MemeX Liquidity Festival happening today. And that seems to be the big reason behind the pump there. Next up, we have Conflux, CFX. This is this sort of Chinese layer one that's focused on stablecoins and payments. Now, if you look at that chart, there was a massive big pump on Tuesday. And
Looks really organic.
Really organic. Nick.
Organic chart, that.
Organic, organic, grass-fed, all that sort of stuff. Now, the only announcement I could see that might have caused that was a partnership with AnchorX, which they tweeted about on Thursday. This is an Asian fintech firm, and I believe this is sort of maybe working on a yuan or a renminbi-based stablecoin.
Yep. Next one on the list is 4, or ticker 4. So it's a gaming and meme coin platform, and it's hard to say why it's pumped so much, but it went vertical on Tuesday, and the same day they tweeted a pic of a cat driving a car. So interesting.
Coincidence? I think not. Okay. If in doubt, just
a
a cat picture.
It's a meme. It's a meme. Yeah.
Okay, Toncoin is next. Now, this has been sort of less god candles on this sort of more slow, steady accumulation. I think this might be related to the launch of Ton staking on Binance. That's my best guess as to why Toncoin has. There was a lot of excitement around Toncoin about a year ago, wasn't there?
There was, yeah.
And it's sort of struggled since then. But there is, they had the integration with Ethena. Offer USD yields via Telegram, so there is a lot sort of going on there.
They did have that recently, that kerfuffle around the Dubai golden visa thing, remember?
Oh yeah, there was that. Yeah, all that fake news that you could buy a golden visa with Toncoin.
Didn't really check up. They didn't actually confirm this with the actual immigration authorities.
Yes, interesting. Yeah, well, it got people talking about it at any rate. Okay, and we also have another top gainer this week is Story Protocol, ticker IP. I think the launch of the Grayscale IP Trust probably did this one.
Indeed, been quite a strong performer recently.
Yeah.
Bring on the tweets for the week, guys.
Okay, so first up, can you explain what's going on here, Nick?
So now this is not really a tweet, although I did see this on Twitter. It's a screenshot of, I think this is a TikTok comment. And this guy says, me when XRP hits 1,000. And then one dude says, in 2078, you will be too old for a Lambo, dude. And then he says, you're right. That's why your daughter will be driving me around. Ooh. That XRP army, that guy, he's not taking prison. Like, he's literally, he's firing ahead on full cylinders.
The XRP army give as good as they get.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, still on the subject of the XRP army, Agent Chud posted this. This contains I think this might be my favorite phrase of the cycle. So this is a classic. Someone's brother is looking to do something in crypto and has got some independent expert advice. So they're talking about buying XRP. If I buy $300 of XRP now at $3.15 and it goes to 10K each, where the experts say it needs to be to operate.
Yeah, because it will not work at 9,999. It has to be 10,000.
Why did not enough people talk about the fact that XRP cannot operate unless it's at 10K?
It's hard coded, man. It's in the code. Like Bitcoin's hard code 21 million limit. XRP's ledger will not operate unless it's $10,000 a coin.
I love that. It's like, oh, so why does it need to go to 10? Well, that's where it needs to be to operate. Duh. I love that. I might get where it needs to be to operate on a T-shirt. That is brilliant.
But the response is also hilarious from Udi.
Oh, yeah.
It's like kind of unfair to him that you post this alpha publicly before he made the trade.
Look, XRP can still do very well. I sometimes this set me off. I was like, what would a world in which XRP goes to 10K look like?
Flying cars with all the Uber drivers.
Basically, the world ruled by Uber drivers, retired Uber drivers, I should say. I kind of feel it would be, it would either be like that sort of glorious techno future, flying cars, everyone sort of wearing white robes and just sort of drifting about, or it would be like the opening of Terminator 2.
Yeah, crazy,
I don't think there's any middle ground.
No
it's
middle
one or the
ground,
other.
yeah.
10K XRP.
Next tweet. This is one from ours personally. Did you see the news over the weekend, guy, that apparently China has banned Bitcoin yet again? Again. And this is such a fitting meme for it. Indeed, every single year, without fail, there is the China bans Bitcoin fight.
I know. Where did I couldn't track where this had come from. Suddenly, everyone was talking about China bans crypto.
We also need the Korea bans crypto as well. I mean, Korea FUD. We need that as well.
And the really annoying thing is that China never actually banned Bitcoin. Like they put restrictions around trading it. Like they certainly didn't make it easy.
Yeah.
But this idea that crypto, that Bitcoin or whatever is banned in China is simply not true.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There's a lot of nuance to that. In fact, we did a video about it a while ago.
Yeah, quite a few
but
times.
it's an interesting situation. But China has not banned Bitcoin for the 8th time or 9th time or whatever it is. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Okay. So this is from Coinbase.
Yeah.
This is an advert that they posted,
Yeah.
which did not portray the dear old United Kingdom in the very best of lights.
Not at all, no. Although I will say I think they could have gone harder. It wasn't very representative of the current plight that is faced in the UK. I mean, where's the roadmen with their hoodies stealing people's phones with the machetes?
Okay, yes.
where is the police, going arresting people for posting memes?
Yeah. Yeah.
And funny enough, talking about being able to present unapproved information, this was supposed to be on the UK televisions, but they refused to allow it.
Yes.
So they had to post it online.
Yes, which is sort of making Coinbase's point for them a little bit. I got to say, I watched this advert, and anyone who hasn't seen it, it's kind of all singing, all dancing. Basically, people in the UK just sort of putting a brave face on the fact that everything is supposedly bloody awful, which, in a lot of cases it is. This sort of triggered me in not a good way. I think it was a bit of a cheap shot, I felt. It was also sort of like, it got to the end. It's so, well, you can see the tagline there. If everything's fine, don't change anything. Coinbase. It's sort of like, well, I kind of felt anyone watching that who didn't really know what crypto was or didn't really know what Coinbase was would have sort of watched that and gone, well, but how does I download Coinbase and suddenly everything's fine?
No, there's a hidden message within the video, guy. You missed it. The main message was when there were these two people pitching up with a car and a convertible. They were leaving for Dubai. So there's the advert. It was a subtle advertisement for moving to Dubai. Just
yes, quite possibly. And well, I mean, the fact that the ad it didn't really sort of. Like I say, it felt like a bit of a cheap shot.
Yeah, I will agree with you. Although we don't, we have our qualms with the UK and with stuff like that. But I will say that it was slightly unfair. Kind of give something inspirational, give some hope. Maybe use buy Bitcoin, save your, worry about inflation or financial security or permissionless networks. But now just where it's like the 70s version of like the UK, right? With all the
it's like it's not that bad. I mean, it can sometimes be that bad, but it's not that bad. I feel I should stick up for the old country a little bit. Sometimes, not always. Okay, so that is Coinbase. Well, they got us talking about it. It's kind of worked in that regard, hasn't it? No publicity is bad publicity. And we also have this one, tweet. This is great. This is such a good use of that picture.
Yeah.
They were buying NFTs again, and you didn't think it was a top.
Oh, 100%. But I'll tell you, when they start bidding the Bored Apes again, then that's it. That's it. Call it in, guys. Sell it out. That's it. Over.
Yeah, that's a very good point that they make there. Okay, any dates for the diary that we should be looking out for this
Only
week?
really one on the economic front, and that's on Thursday. We've got initial jobless claims, and the expected number is 221K, and the previous is 218K. I wonder if the BLS is going to come out with a massive revision down, or Trump's new BLS head is going to come out and say there are no jobless claims, no jobless claims at all. Everyone's got a job.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, how are we doing on the old likes?
We're on 900.
900. Okay, so that's 300 to go. Thank you. Thanks to whoever was doing that maths for me off camera. You could hear the rusty cogs churning around.
Okay, I mean, they tried, and we should just give them something, right? Like,
I think we should give them a bit
not the full
of
on everything, but
alpha.
yeah, let's go.
Okay, so all right. Do you want to talk a bit about your portfolio first, or shall I?
You go first.
Okay, so if we can bring my portfolio up on screen there. Obviously, this is available to members of the Coin Bureau Club. You can see I've got quite diverse holdings there.
Very.
Aave top of my watch list, although I haven't actually bought any Aave recently.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I bought three particular. I added to my positions. I already held these coins in my portfolio, and I added to them over the weekend. So I bought some more ENA. We talked a lot about ENA. I think it was one of the top performers last week. I think Athena is a great platform.
Yeah.
I'm using it. I've parked a lot of stables there in USDE, and I'm using ENA to sort of boost rewards on that. I'm very impressed with how they're doing it. I first bought ENA after the Bybit hack. Which was a big sort of test for it, and I just think it's a really cool platform, and it's doing great things. And their metrics are all going up and to the right. So I thought I'd add some more ENA. I know you talked about maybe doing it as well. I know you were a bit butthurt about how you missed out on it early doors. That's that informed my decision. I also added some syrup. Now this is Maple Finance. This is kind of an institutional Aave. Is the sort of
It's an OG project though, right? It's been around since 2020s, right?
It has
rebranded and stuff.
It really struggled in the wake of FTX. We also covered it for our Coin Bureau Club members. We did one of our in-depth reviews. A very interesting project. It's been performing really well recently. It's retraced a little bit, but they did announce some new buybacks. I think this is one of these projects that is going to keep generating revenue. It's got good TradFi connections, good crypto connections as well. Yeah. So I'm very bullish on that. I already held some, and I added a bit more over the weekend. I think it went up a little bit actually as well. And the third one is something called Mamo. Now this is an AI agent money manager. This has got very close ties to the base ecosystem. Yeah. A very easy, very usable dashboard. Again, it allows you to earn yield on your USDC. It might do other stablecoins at some point, but USDC at the moment. We covered this for our Coin Bureau Club members. A risky project, a much lower market cap, so there's a lot more risk involved than with the likes of Athena and Maple Finance. But I thought it was really interesting. Yeah. As you know, I've been bullish on AI agents for a long time, and this is a project that's got incredibly close connections to Coinbase, and I think it could, maybe get a listing there at some point fairly soon. So those are three coins that I've added to my holdings of.
Sweet, and then the other ones they'll have to join the club to get that info, right?
Exactly. If you want to know what else I'm holding, if you want to know some of the absolute dogs that are in my portfolio as well, then Coin Bureau Club members are the ones who know that. What about you, Nick? What have you been up to?
Not necessarily the best selling point if you've got dogs in your portfolio.
Look, there are more. Every portfolio should have its dogs.
Thank you guys so much for the image. I mean, amazing. I should approve on these beforehand.
Very good.
They got a veritable smorgasbord of stuff they can use from the thumbnails. So in terms of my stuff, so obviously I'm very heavy in Bitcoin. I have been for quite some time. Picked up Sui quite some time ago, so I've held that for quite long.
Okay.
I did, it's blurred out here, but I'll say it. You can obviously tell that the third logo is a hyperliquid logo. About 4 or 5 months ago, I sold all my Sol and bought Hype. And that's been pretty good so far in terms of it's outperformed. Hype has outperformed Sol. And more recently, I've been involved in terms of stables. I hold a lot of stables right now, just keeping it dry powder.
Okay.
And I've been doing like yield farming on Hyperliquid and the Hyper EVM ecosystem. So doing things like delta neutral strategies and obviously farming the Hyperliquid airdrop as well as other projects within the Hyper EVM ecosystem. I also do have Athena on my watch list. I picked up a long position, a perp long position like a few days ago in Athena.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. It's going well so far. But like spot-wise, I'm really like eyeing Athena. I do like ENA. I think ENA's got a lot of potential this cycle. Haven't picked it up yet, but I've got the exposure in the long.
Okay.
And then I may as well say that in the other watch list, on my other part of the watch list is Potential.
Oh, yeah.
Potential is really, obviously, in terms of AI-related cryptos, I think it's one of the top with potential because it's also adjacent in tokenomics to Bitcoin, and it's got a lot of big backers behind it. So we'll have to see. I've got a few price targets, which I'll allude to, and you guys can check out in the club. So, yeah.
Okay. Now, I just want to draw the obvious conclusion between our two portfolios. I just want to ask you, Nick, my portfolio, I've got quite a few coins in there. Not as many as I should say as our head of research, Dan, who literally every time I look at his portfolio, I just get nervous. I get the jitters.
Get lost.
That guy holds a lot. But he spends literally his entire life immersed in crypto, so he can keep track of it. But Nick, you've gone for a very sort of a quite minimalist strategy.
Yeah, I believe in high conviction, concentrated bets. Just focus all my attention on those that I think have the most potential. And then also willing to trade out fully if in it, right? For example, Sol. I could have, held a little bit of Sol and continued because I still do think I'm still kind of bullish on Sol in the long term. But price action wise, I just saw that I think Hyperliquid had the upper hand. Oh, I should also, I won't say now, I'll leave it in the Discord. You guys can go and become a club member to go and find out what it is. I did pick up something else that would you be surprised by recently as well.
Oh God, I'm going to have to ask you this off camera.
Yeah.
Interesting, very interesting. Okay, so yeah, that's a sort of that's a bit of an update on what we're doing with our portfolios at the moment. And as Nick says, he prefers to go big.
Go big or go home, bro.
Go big or go home.
100 nothing. There we go.
Yeah.
All in, bro.
I take my hat off to you as well because I hold Hyperliquid too. I hold some Hype. I think I bought it after you did. But I too sort of thought about farming it, going on. And every time I looked at, because there were any number of tweets breaking it down how to do it, and every time I looked at them, I was just like, I cannot be bothered.
Yeah, and to be fair, it is kind of risky to a degree because I hold a high position like long, and then also I'm doing the farming with a lot of my stables, right? So if there is any sort of a hack on the hyper core or something, or in that ecosystem, that's bad. So I'm thinking potentially I've done that already. I've unstaked some of my Hype, and I'm going to potentially go and put some in SUSDE because now the yields that you can get on SUSDE are pretty strong, pretty high in terms of compared to what they were in the past. And the yields I'm getting on these hyper strategies aren't as strong as they used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So well done for you for braving those waters. Like I say, every time I looked into farming Hyperliquid, I was just like, life is too short. But definitely a lot of opportunity there if you have the time and the inclination. Let's just quickly go through some of the comments now. Dre5110, one of our Wall of Famers, power user, seems to have a bit of the young Pierce Brosnan going on. I couldn't think in which of us this was relation to.
I think it's Pierce Brosnan? Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take this.
You take the one. You got that one, bro.
Thibaut, who has great comment before, new duo for next week: Point Break, Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. This has been staring us in the face all the time.
We should definitely.
I mean, Nick's got the hair. I obviously look exactly like Keanu Reeves. Have the same sort of laid back vibe. Okay, what else? There's a lot of, like I say, a lot of talk about Juventus.
Oh my god.
What else? UK is great if you are from a third world country. Paul.
Wow. Oh,
ouch.
Man. Ouch.
Shots
bro.
fired.
Are you going to take that guy?
I'm not going to take that lying down at all.
He's going to fire back from his comfy seat here in Dubai.
Yeah. Oh, ouch. Okay. Meanwhile, YY has rumbled me. Guy is poor. He DM me every day asking for money. Yeah, and you never send any YY, so I don't know what you're getting on your high horse about. Disgraceful. All the time. I'm always asking so politely as well.
All the education this guy's doing, you can't respond to his DMs on Telegram, on Instagram, on Twitter.
Oh, it just won't do. Domingo Flores asks, isn't ENA having a huge coin unlock soon? I think it might have been today. Well, certainly one coming up.
One coming up, but I mean, these are usually priced in, guys. Generally, they tend to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Someone commenting why my portfolio is so diverse. Guy just loves crypto too much. He likes to collect different coins.
It's like Pokemon for him. You've got to catch them all.
I'm not going to lie, there is a kind of element to that because some of those projects in there I bought, like, I'm so interested
coin.
in the
Shiny coin. I'm going to pick up the shiny coin, put it in my portfolio, pop into my portfolio.
Yeah, I did it in that voice. That's the voice I use. That's the actual voice. I sit there, oh, look at this, I'm going to buy it. Okay, we'll leave it with this one from Martin because I just thought this is a really lovely comment. Monday is my most favourite show. You guys rock and are the high priest of Cryptoverse. You all should be knighted and receive a Nobel Prize for these efforts. Bravo.
There we go, man. Couldn't have said it worse.
Where's my
Couldn't have said it
knighthood?
better. There we
Where's
go.
my knighthood? Nick can have the Nobel Prize.
If you give him a knighthood, you'll move back to the UK.
Yeah, Sir Guy. Oh,
So, guy, there we go.
I tell you what, Mrs. G would love that. She would love to be Lady Guy. That would get me in the good books.
If you get knighted, did your significant other get?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
Something to think about, Nick.
package deal. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, that was great. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back as ever next week. Let's hope the markets have recovered somewhat.
Yeah.
But it is great to spend time with you guys. Keep a lookout for all the other content coming your way. Nick, it's been great to see you.
Indeed, it has been. Good one. Nice guys.
See you next week.
See you next week.
If Guy and the other guy, Nick, aren't the nicest people in crypto. You guys and your chuckles, you're hilarious. Smooth, Nick. It's nice to see the light in crypto again now. This feels like when your dad shaves his beard. New drinking game. Hit it every time Guy mentions he holds. He love the coin bro. Guy upgraded t-shirt. It's about time. Fabio is filling in today.
Much bigger mirror than some people have got.
You're always comparing me. You always have to compare. Everything but competition with you.
Well, that's life, Nicholas. Sometimes that's just the way it pans out.
Please, I'm reading my Arabic. I'm learning my Arabic.
Sorry. Hate to interrupt.